Hello and welcome to my channel, Fight for the Sky. This is my fourth featured poet, Stan Jackson, and I am honored to read for you his poem titled, They. They took our minds, they took our soul, they took everything that we control. They took from us our mother's arms, they took our love, they took our charms, and threw them in the Thames to rot. They took our blood, they took the lot. They took our simple pleasures too, and things we pinned our hopes onto. They took our jobs, they took our lives, but mourn when one of their own dies. They took our thoughts, they took them all, and sent our heroes to the wall. They took our money, they took our thanks, and then they automated banks. They took our friends, they took our roads, said we had no need of those. They took our innocence and our youth. They took our lies and spoke the truth. They said that we had lost our senses, but then they hid behind their fences. They took our lust, they took our mystery, they took our whole idea of history. They cut its head off and called it new, but Jesus Christ is still a Jew. They took us from our fields and crops and told us that the work just stops, but crammed us into tubes and cans and made us forget to use our hands. They took our leaders, they took our vision and sent them both to Wandsworth Prison. They twisted lies and called it fact. They took control and sent it back. And then there's nothing left to do except type and tweet and say, fuck you. And nothing then was sacred ever. They made us hate the whole endeavor. They took our cars, they took our lights, said now we have to fix our bikes. They took our homes, they took our fun. They said we're the same as everyone. They told us how it really is, that Egypt built the pyramids. And then they said that we're all equal, but just as numbers, not as people. They sold us pills and taught us lessons while we battled deep depression. We got ill and old and fat, but that was fine. And that was that. They dug up trenches in the Somme and told us we had never gone. That was then a darker time, but we don't talk, and that was fine. They took our hope, they took our glory. They said that we can't have that story. They took our deepest summer nights that we once shared below the lights. They took our paintings and our art. They took our flag, tore it apart. They saw the flare and put it out, sirens blaring, scream and shout. They took our joy, they took our vigor. They replaced it with a trigger. They told us there's no evil here. Just succumb to hate and fear. They took our very final breath and told us what to say in death. They took our wallets and our watches while they racked up record losses. They don't sleep, they never tire. They stack the bodies, make them higher. They're not real, they never were, because they're not him. And they're not her. But who are they to say and do? Who am I, and who are you? and we might never ever see is that they are you and they are me.